And now it's time to get super excited because we are about to present the first segment of a brand new monthly series starring my favorite tour guide and yours, Anat Harrel. Each month she'll be taking us to a new place and teaching us a ton, I'm sure. So without further ado, I'm proud to introduce Can You Dig It with Anat Harrel. Anat, thank you so much for being with us. Where are you joining us from today?
Hi, Aaron. So today you are joining me at the top of the mountain on the windy, sunny mountaintop in the city of Tzfat. Tzfat is famous because it's one of the 4 holy cities in Judaism. And the story of Tzfat begins actually about 2,000, 2,500 years ago. There are people living here, but the claim to fame begins during Crusader times. Crusader times in Tzfat, the Crusaders arrive and they build a huge, big fortress at the top of the hill. It gets destroyed by the Mamluks, and then a few hundred years go by, and the Ottoman Empire takes over. When the Ottoman Empire takes over, what happens is that this is the 16th century, and in the 16th century, after the expulsion of the Jews from Spain, the Ottoman Empire gets very smart, and they say, Jews, all of you expelled from Spain, come to the Ottoman Empire. And many of the Jews come into the Ottoman Empire, and a few thousand of them come into the land of Israel and settle here on the top of this mountain, and they build the city of Tzfat. This becomes the golden age of the city of Tzfat, and this is where the Kabbalah, have you ever heard of the Kabbalah? The Kabbalah gets written right here, and this is where mystical Judaism really comes from. And in the 1920s, what happens is that riots begin. The times are not very settled, and the British decide that they're going to build these stairs from the top. You see those stairs? The stairs come down here. Why? Because they're trying to separate the Jews from the Arabs, because what happens is in 1929, there are big riots. 20 Jews are murdered here. A few other dozens of Jews are murdered in Jerusalem and in Hebron. And what happens is that the British decide that the Jews and the Arabs cannot live side by side, and they separate them, okay? They separate them, and then what happens is that they start building in Tzfat. Now, in 1936, they build those stairs, and recently, because of the corona, the Ministry of Tourism and the Ministry of Housing and the Ministry of Construction and Urban Planning are trying to plan all kinds of wonderful programs for the cities of the north of Israel. They come to Tzfat and they say, okay, let's take advantage of the corona, and we will create a large urban plan for the next 20 years. Well, what happens when you construct an urban plan and you start excavating, start building infrastructure? You have to bring in the Israel Antiquities Authority. So the city of Tzfat decides that it's going to create some kind of a nice roundabout, and they bring in the Antiquities Authority. This is Ilan Mizrahi. Ilan is a conservator with the conservation department at the Israel Antiquities Authority, and the building behind us was built in 1932 to protect the Jewish quarter from any further riots. Not only that, it was built with reinforced concrete and as a big shopping center, and they tried to boost the economy of the Jewish quarter. And Ilan is here because his specialty is conservation. And Ilan is going to be in charge of the conservation and the refurbishing of this beautiful building. Not only that, we have here the excavation. This is an excavation in the roundabout, under the roundabout. And from the building, you can see down here, underneath the roundabout, where the parking lot for the buses used to be, they are excavating. The Israel Antiquities Authority is excavating because of the infrastructure that is going to be placed in. Look at what they found. They've got the British the British floor here, down here, the concrete floor. They have late Ottoman street in front of us. They have early Ottoman from the 16th and 17th century, from the 19th century, from the earliest 20th century. Look at all this stuff that is under the ground in Tzfat, because this is going to be developed by the city of Tzfat and all of the other organizations. We have to have a salvage excavation by the Israel Antiquities Authority. And here is we're planning for the future, and hopefully it'll be a wonderful thing.
Wow. All right. I didn't know even a quarter of that. I've been to Tzfat, and I think it's amazing. This is just even more reason to come and visit. Anat, thank you so much for sharing all that.